When they play at the same time, sometimes it's great news both locations. Sometimes it's good news one place, bad news one place, and that's what we have tonight. On the happy side of the screen tonight, that's Taylor Torn. On the not happy side of the screen, that's Jim Dunaway. He's, of course, in Auburn. I'm in Tuscaloosa, where, I knew Alabama could lose the game. I didn't think they could lose it by 10 on their home floor. I got some stats that'll blow your mind away. I know you have some impressive non-Janai Broom Auburn Tiger #1 team in the country stats. Taylor, let's start there with the win from Auburn, and then we'll circle here to Alabama. Give me the thoughts on what you saw tonight from your Auburn Tigers.
So heading into this game, the question was obviously who will step up in the absence of Janai Broom, and everyone stepped up. Denver Jones had 13 points. Chad Baker-Mazara had 20 points. Miles Kelly had 13 points. Chaney Johnson had 17 points. Dylan Cardwell had 9 points. Todd Pettiford had 12 points. I think the question is who didn't step up. The thing that stood out to me most was the fact that Chaney and Dylan both went the entire first half without fouling. That we knew was going to be very important because Dylan and Chaney have both seen themselves getting into foul trouble at multiple times throughout the season so far. And without Janai, their minutes on the court are going to be, a lot more than they have been so far this season. So it was very important for them to stay out of foul trouble, and they did just that.
Yeah, and I personally didn't think Dylan could play that aggressive and that foul-free as he did in the first half against a usually physical Mississippi State team. But they're built a little different this year, as Stephen Pearl said on our show today. So massive win in the first game without Janai Broom. And we keep hearing positive things about when he'll return to the Auburn lineup. More on that in a second. Of course, the chat melting down over here over what we just saw here in Tuscaloosa ending seconds ago, 74-64 with Ole Miss beating Alabama. Hey, you want a stat for you? Right here, this is a stat that'll blow your mind. In their own building, Ole Miss took 70 shots. Alabama took 47 shots. I'll say it again, Taylor, since you're way in the back down at Auburn. Ole Miss on the road here took 70 shots. Alabama took 47 shots. Forget misses. Alabama couldn't shoot the ball tonight to miss more than they missed. They missed a lot, but they couldn't get shots off tonight. 21 turnovers. Not 8, not 10, not 12. 21 turnovers. I see those eyes. 21 turnovers. But wait, there's more. 14 steals. 14 steals. If steals was a felony, Ole Miss would be sentenced to life. They stole so much in Tuscaloosa tonight. It was insanity, the defensive plan that Chris Beard had tonight against Nate Oates' offense. It was chess and checkers, as Alabama never figured it out. The whole game, they never figured it out.
I couldn't pay close attention to the game, obviously, since I had a game going on in Auburn. I had it pulled up on my computer on YouTube TV, and I kept waiting for Alabama to pull away, for them to get hot shooting, because we know they are very capable of scoring a lot of points in a short amount of time. And I just kept waiting. I was like, at some point, I'm going to look down, check the score, and Alabama's going to have scored, 20 points in the last 13 minutes.
Never
just didn't happen.
They never got into a flow. In fact, most of those 47 shots, it seemed like, ended up having to happen at the rim. It's a good perimeter defense from Ole Miss tonight. Keeping the ball out of the hands of Mark Sears, who ended up with 11 tonight. Aiden Holloway led the way in scoring. 9 from him in the first half, including a big 3 right before the first half buzzer. It just was it just did not look like, this didn't look like it was a Nate Oates coach offense. I don't know. I've seen Alabama play Tennessee, who I think was the last team to beat Alabama here in Coleman Coliseum last year. I've seen Tennessee strangle Alabama's defense before, but nothing like I saw tonight. It was a perfect storm of good defense, not getting shots and being loose with the basketball. I mean, they were stepping in, almost were stepping in passing lanes all night long. Like there'd be a cross court or a little skip pass that somebody from Ole Miss was waiting on, and they would just step and steal it and take it the other way. I mean, I won't say these numbers again because I've never seen these numbers. I'll be
Yeah,
honest with you.
I'm mind blown.
Yes, yeah. Like when you say 11, 12 turnovers, I'm like, man, you guys are going to get your ass chewed out at practice. 21 turnovers, 14 steals for Ole Miss tonight. I mean, that's what can you say? Let's go to the chat room, get some
All
comments
right.
from the happy Auburn fans and the bad Alabama fans. This is the basketball show, our post-game show, live tonight on a Tuesday. Number 1 Auburn, a winner over Mississippi State. Number 4 Alabama, a loser to nationally ranked Ole Miss, who I think is 21 in the country. They'll
Yes.
shoot up. They'll shoot up the Ken Palm, and we'll see what it does to the Alabama numbers. This is where you start. If you're an Alabama fan tonight, you're thankful you're in the SEC with all these great Ken Palm like rating numbers, because these kind of losses won't kill you, but a 10-point loss in the metric world, a 10-point loss at home, hard to swallow anytime.
I will say I have 2 quick notes before we get to the chat. One, just an update on John. I'm not sure how much they were showing him on the broadcast, but he wasn't on crutches or a scooter. He was in a boot, but he was on the court during warm-ups, walking around. He looked like his morale was high. I'm sure, he wasn't going to go sit on the bench and be in a sad, poor me or pissy mood because he wanted to be there for his teammates, but he
Right.
looked like he was doing well. Every timeout, every break, he was up in the huddle. He was encouraging the guys on the court during the game. He was on his feet the whole game. So positive note on just what Janai looked like tonight. And number 2, Ron Slay was in the student section every chance he got, it appeared. So I think that he had the experience that he was wishing for today on the
Right.
show. And I'm not sure. I did not witness any crowd surfing. I'm not sure if that happened. I could have missed that. But all right, to the chat. Landmine Believer. I'm not going to pop this one up because there's
Of
a
the
little bit.
language.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of profanity, but just pathetic. Oates got outcoached by Beard. They cut off every driving lane, and every hammer pass lane was jumped and cut off. Beard owned us tonight. I'll let you give your thoughts on this, since I obviously was not able to watch most of the game very closely.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that when he was at Texas Tech, he made it to the Final Four. I was at that Final Four. Auburn was there, Virginia was there, Michigan State was there, and he was there with Texas Tech. He went to Texas, and Texas fans still say that was their dream coach to get. They wish he was still there, but he had some things that cost him to lose that job, and he lands at Ole Miss. And in 2 years, and not even 2 full years, this is his second year, he has changed I was talking to some Ole Miss folks before the game and then at halftime, and they've talked about the way he's changed the culture. I said, man, is he fun to work for? They're like, he's very strict, very tough, but very fair to work for. And I said, oh, I've seen that for the last 17 years in Nick Saban. I said, strict, hard, but fair is winning, is a winning way to coach. And he has turned that program into what you saw tonight. He's a very good coach. Lance believes in him, and Ole Miss is lucky to have him. I'm not going to get into he coached circles around Nate Oates tonight. I think the stats speak for themselves. This was not anything that Nate Oates will put into any kind of a sheet and spit out anything good. This was called. This was the blue collar night. They dictate one game a year to be blue collar night, where you got the helmet on the scoreboard. Everywhere wears helmets anyway, but it was the blue collar night, and the more physical blue collar team tonight was actually wearing powder blue from Ole Miss and not Alabama. I mean, the stats don't lie on that. 70-40, just getting shots up. It was that difficult tonight for Alabama. But here, you knew you were going to lose in the SEC.
Yeah,
Maybe you
and
didn't think you were going to lose at home, but see, maybe you were going to lose one at home. I don't think thought you were going to lose by 10, and not this way where you only got 47 shots up. Not when you're Nate Oates, the great Nate Oates, who loves to shoot shots. 47, that's nowhere on his scale of the shot sheets. 47's a half. It's not a game.
right. one more from Landmine Believer. 1 seed in SEC is gone for Bama. Gone. We had to protect the home floor. And the thing about this, I think that, to reiterate what you just said, is you're going to lose games in the SEC. And one thing that stood out to me about Alabama this year is, yes, I mean, it's not ideal to lose at home because winning on the road is so hard. And everyone says defense travels, but Alabama has proven that they can score on the road. Yes, defense travels, but their offense has traveled up until this point in the year very well.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. We've said this before. This isn't football. One loss isn't going to kill you. If they can turn around at some point and, win a game that they might not be expected to win on the road, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't know about the 1 seed, the SEC, who knows who's gonna lose games that they shouldn't, who's gonna win games that they shouldn't. I think it's way too early to determine who's gonna win the SEC, but I don't know. The 1 seed thing, I don't know. You probably can elaborate a little more on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're in for the long ride, right?
Right.
Cody says, I saw a lot of empty seats in Coleman with 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. Not a good sign, fair weather fans. I'll tell you this, Cody, the mass exodus actually happened at 2:30. Between 2:30 and 2:15, there was a timeout, and it was like nothing I'd ever seen in here. I'll be honest with you. It was like, because Alabama was going to the free throw. Mark Sears was going to the free throw line, and it was 2:30 to go in the game. And Mark Sears was going to the free throw line, and it was like the fire alarm had gone off. I mean, it was like the aisles were full. Like people were waiting to walk up the stairs and leave. I really have never seen anything like that. Zach says, embarrassing game and effort by Alabama there. I understand that. Smuff says, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Doug Shouse. He's the official that if you're a long-standing SEC fan, I don't care who you cheer for, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida, everyone agrees on one thing, Taylor. Doug Shouse is not a very popular guy. And I will say this, that it was one of those games where if you're looking for any home cooking, like I think when you play a home game, you think, okay, those close calls are usually going to go my way because we're at home. Because when we're on the road, we don't get
They
any
don't
close
go your
calls, right?
way. Right.
Yeah, yeah. But tonight, it was a show from Doug Shouse. It was, but I don't think it was going to matter because Alabama only got 47 shots up tonight. Hunter jumps in,
Um,
evening, y'all. War down, he says. Auburn. I mean, back to the Auburn game and what he's talking about. You wanted to see how they were able, Taylor, to play their first game without Janai against a top 25 opponent. And
yep.
yeah, I mean, you got an answer tonight that I think will ring from one side of this conference to the other, that even without their man, without, QB1 for them, they still are a force to be reckoned with. And that's a good Mississippi State basketball team.
It is. And 5-1 Troy said all the coaches and players continuously said Chaney Johnson was the most underrated player on the team. Yes, they were right. And this is something that goes back to Basketball Media Day in October. Is that when that is? August? I don't remember. But
I don't either.
way earlier, kind of towards the beginning of football season. Who was there? I believe it was Denver Jones. Our question that we were asking all the players there was, which one of your teammates is not getting talked about enough this offseason? And Denver Jones said Chaney Johnson. He's not, people are overlooking him, and they shouldn't. And that's exactly what Troy's saying. That's exactly what his teammates, his coaches have been saying all season, and he showed that tonight. When he got a chance, both of the times that he's gotten chances, when Janai went down very, very early in the Georgia State game, Chaney had an incredible game. And then tonight, he did his job.
Yeah, he did. And, like you said, a lot of places he starts. And now he gets that opportunity to be more and more in the lineup. A lot of War Eagles, a lot of pats on the back for Auburn tonight. And I love the sportsmanship here. This is Austin who jumps into the chat. He's an Ole Miss fan. Ole Miss fan here. I'm stunned. Stunned is the word he used. However, don't be concerned, Bama fans. You'll more than likely still be a top player for the title the rest of the way. Hotty toddy, and good luck the rest of the year. Somebody check
I love
Austin.
that sportsmanship.
Me too. But somebody check
That is
Austin.
so
See if he's
rare.
and see if Austin's really an SEC fan.
So
Austin, way to
rare.
go, man. Way to go. Hotty toddy to you, man. Safe travels back to wherever you're going tonight if you were here in town. Um, Charles says, good sign. I'll ask you, you watch him on the bench a lot. He says, good sign that Janai was standing up a ton. So
He
he was
was.
standing up, sitting down on his own. Was he on crutches? Tell me about that.
He was not on crutches. I saw a video of him, I believe, yesterday, and he was on one of those little scooter things that a lot of people, after you have, foot surgery, a broken foot, a lot of people ride those around. He was on one of those yesterday, and he had no sort of assistance tonight. There was no scooter in sight. There were no crutches in sight. He was on his feet all throughout warm-ups, and I mean, he was on his feet out of excitement during the game. He was very engaged. He was the biggest cheerleader on the bench, if not the biggest, one of the biggest. But yes, he was on his feet a lot. I mean, from what I could tell, he looked to be doing as good as you can be. And I think it's just going to depend on his pain tolerance, as
Yeah.
Stephen Pearl said on the show today.
But like Steven said on the show today, especially until you get an L in the loss column, wait till you get 100%. There's no rush back, no rush. You take your time, you get 100%, and no need to rush things back. David, no excuse for Bama dropping this game tonight. I do think. And thanks for watching on Facebook, there, David. I would say that people, Auburn's number one in the country. Alabama's one of the better teams in the country, and I think sometimes, at least I had gotten to the point of thinking, okay, Alabama and Auburn's the two best teams in the league, and there'll be some losses along the way, but these other teams are really good, and they're going to be tournament teams. But the two best teams are Auburn and Alabama. Well, Auburn's the number one team in the country. We'll see, where 2, 3, 4, 5 shake out, and there's a lot of good teams in this league, and you know, Alabama, I think, got a little bit tonight that they're going to have to find their place in the neighborhood here. They're gonna have to fight for how close to boardwalk they want to be on this SEC monopoly board this year, because it was a physical game where it just again, I've watched every game Nate Oates has coached. I've never seen anything like this one tonight, ever.
Hollywood DeBarber said Alabama looked a step behind tonight, probably fatigue from the Texas A&M game. It's a long season, and once conference play starts, you're typically playing twice a week. And if you have the Tuesday game, not the Wednesday, you're not playing in the Wednesday slate, then you're playing Saturday, Tuesday. That is a pretty quick turnaround. But it is what it is. It's a long season, and you're gonna drop some games.
Zach says, just burn the tape. Hopefully Alabama got all the season's worth of bad basketball out tonight. That is true. If you've got, 100% of bad basketball in this jar, and if you get it all out tonight and there's no more bad basketball left in the jar the rest of the season, you would take that. Nate Oates has teaching moments now, and he's got an extra day to prepare for Saturday. You rest on Wednesday, maybe. I don't know. He may get, they may be in the back gym right now practicing, for all I know. He may be back there. Guys, lace them up. We're going to keep practicing tonight. You didn't work hard enough. Let's go work. I don't know what's happening in the back gym. I'll find out. I'll let you know if they're back there working before I leave tonight. But at some point, they will start focusing on the weekend. A trip to Kentucky, and I think Kentucky has beaten Texas A&M tonight, the team Alabama just beat. So it's off to Rupp Arena, where you go up there and teams. So we'll see how Alabama does in this league. Nava saying Nava Reptiles. Missouri beating up on Florida right now. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I'm gonna
early.
listen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to those games on my way home. I can look at the score really fast. I'm not sure what it is.
Yep. This is a great point right here by Jimmy. Jimmy says Alabama better get it together. They'll get run in Lexington again Saturday. Last year, Kentucky torched Bama. And see, that's just it. You have a style that Mark Pope plays that's like Nate Oates plays. And if Alabama doesn't get it corrected before you get up there, Mark Pope's team has the ability to shoot a lot better than Ole Miss did tonight, to score a lot more points than Ole Miss did tonight. And another double-digit win back to back, double-digit loss in Alabama's case. No bueno.
I have a hard time believing that Alabama. I'm not saying that that I'm predicting a win or a loss. but I have a hard time believing that they will look like they look tonight. NATO's will not allow that to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. Steven
Uh,
says we all slept on Kentucky a little bit. UK is going to be a silent force all year. We did. We came into the year and we had all these teams. We had Auburn, we had Alabama, we had Florida, all these teams before we got down to Kentucky. And Kentucky is looking pretty good, there.
Missouri is currently beating Florida 44-33, and there are 4.5 minutes left in the first half.
Mm.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
game to play there.
All right, couple of more thoughts from you on Auburn. I'll give you a couple more in Alabama, and then we'll call it a night. You make your way back, and we'll record the basketball show on Thursday. Have it ready to go for you on the drive to work on Friday, or pregame on Saturday, whenever you want to do it, and you get ready to enjoy a Saturday of basketball coming up that has Auburn on the road at Georgia, Alabama on the road at Kentucky. Is there a little bit of you inside of you that thinking about maybe Athens isn't that far of a drive? I may just want to drive to Athens on Saturday.
You never know, Dunaway. You never know. I haven't. I'm right now. I'm worried about getting home tonight and sleeping for as long. What is going on?
Oh, I just had pulling my camera right there.
What is happening?
I don't know.
But you never know. I don't know. I need to get some sleep first, evaluate, but maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Okay.
Auburn's defense to start the game, or I mean, Mississippi State was missing shots, but they went on a 10-0 run to start the game. First, Mississippi State points weren't until 16 minutes were remaining in the first half. So they kind of carried over their defense from the last 5 minutes of the South Carolina game. Another thing, I mean, Broom's morale, we've talked about that a good bit. One thing, this is my last thing and a big takeaway. Ja'Kai Howard's effort, he did not stuff the stat sheet tonight. I believe he only had 2 points, but his effort on the court is unmatched. His energy is through the roof, and his effort is incredible. I know that there was some turmoil at the beginning of the season, and I just think the way that he's bounced back has been something that he should be applauded for. His name was dragged through the mud a lot, and he's gonna get talked about. He's gonna be in headlines in a negative way when something like that happens. But I don't think that he's getting enough credit for how he's played since he got back out on the court, because he's had nights with more points, but his effort stood out to me tonight a lot. I know you weren't able to watch a ton of the game, but there were some big time effort plays from him that made a difference, and I'm personally proud of him, because you never know how someone's going to react after something like that. Something like what happened at the beginning of the season happens.
Yeah. The one thing I would ask Alabama fans to do would be on our social media platforms at Next Round Live, send us the last time you saw Alabama's offense perform like this. I somehow feel like the name Anthony Grant will pop up. Maybe it'll be, Avery Johnson. I don't know. It's been a while since back in the slow it down way of Alabama basketball. It's been that bad since Alabama played offensively like this. Here's the final stat. I know I've statted you to death with the 21
No,
turnovers
I love
and
the
14
numbers.
steals.
I love the numbers.
Alabama, this is from my buddy Nick Kelly, who has done the work on this, who works at AL.com and sits right up there to my left. He's in the post-game news conference. Nate Oates is about to go in there and talk now. By the way, from that post-game news conference, Chris Beard says, I still believe Alabama is one of the best teams in the country. You would definitely want to say that if you just beat them on the road, because that helps you. Nick Kelly, Alabama entered the game 11th in the country offensive rebounding percentage. 11th in the country at offensive rebounds. And then tonight, Ole Miss had a 9-4 edge on the offensive glass. Alabama only had 4 offensive rebounds all night long. They had, if you watch the Texas A&M game, who's a physical physical rebounding team, Alabama in one possession had miss Mark Sears 3, offensive rebound. Kick it back to Mark Sears missed 3, offensive rebound. Kick it back to Mark Sears, 3-point shot. 2 offensive rebounds on one possession. They had 4 in 40 minutes of basketball tonight. It was an out of body experience. is what this was tonight. It's whatever, claps, chef kiss, whatever you want to do for Ole Miss fans. It was that good of a game for them.
There was one more comment that I wanted to touch on. Where'd it go? Does everyone else agree that this is the best the SEC has ever looked? This season is going to be epic. Yes. No argument. 100% hands down, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there is some frazzling going on at the end, at the edges, like with Arkansas. I want to see them get back to where they could possibly be in some other things. But yeah, no, I still believe it's going to end up being the year we thought it was going to be in the Southeastern Conference. I just wanted to throw Zach's up there real quick. Coach Grant was 100% proud of this offensive effort. If you're an Alabama fan, that's one of those if you know situations right there. All right, she's Taylor Corn. I'm Jim Dunaway, mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, promo code next round, roback.com, promo code TNR20, 20% off all your stuff. Man, we love you. The numbers and all the responses we get. I had Austin, who was right up here sitting at Coleman Coliseum after the game while I was waiting to hit the link, leaned over to this rail, said, Jim. It's like, hey, he goes, Austin, I've lost 40 pounds on way to wellness. I'm running out to the no, wait. I'm running out to the car now to watch the basketball show. That was a quote. Actually,
shout out Austin.
Actually, I know it's not the most difficult name, but actually called it by the correct name, running out to watch the basketball show. So, Austin, thank you, man. And thank all of you. Y'all have a good night. And we will see you on the next round tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central. And then coming up Friday morning right here on the basketball show.